Gamers, today I'm gonna make the final video for this, I guess, mini-series or whatever you want to call it, introductory video to every civ, and the last one we have is China. Now I am sick, so if I cough or, you know, that's why. So apologies for that. So let's get started. This is gonna be everything you need to know about Chinese. We're gonna explain the bonuses that they have here, then we're gonna get into the game and basically build every single production building and talk about all their unique units and upgrades to guys, to just give you more insight on how the civ works, and any like small tricks and tips I can give, I will. So first things first, China is the only civ that has dynasties. Their villagers construct defenses 50% faster and all other buildings 100% faster. Which is very good bonus. Units trained, research completed, and resource dropped off generate tax gold that can be collected. So every time you make a unit, every time you research an upgrade in any building except town center, it generates tax, and the imperial officials, which are their unique kind of economy units, can collect the tax and you get more gold that way. More about that later. Dynasties, like I said, we'll talk about that in a little bit. And then another bonus they have is chemistry technology is granted for free in the Dark Age. Town centers, I thought it's Imperial, but it's in Dark Age. Town centers, keeps, and outposts use hand cannon slits instead of defensive arrow slits, which means every other civ shoots arrows, but they shoot like hand cannons that deal a lot more damage but shoot slower. So they're a lot better versus armored units. So if you're getting raided by knights or men-at-arms, Chinese TC is a lot better against that. And then docks work 20% faster. We're gonna get into Boulder Bay because I want to show you guys the water units as well. So let's get into it. Chinese is a very macro-oriented civ, although recently we've seen some more like aggressive playstyles. They're very strong in the late game, and they have very good economy. So I'm going to build a bunch of workers here, just because, you know, we want to make sure we have enough stuff. So in the Dark Age, they have normal houses, right? Nothing special there. I'm going to build mill, I'm going to build a lumber camp and a mining camp. But another thing that China has is, like I mentioned earlier, it has dynasties, and it has 4 dynasties. So if you click here on the bottom left side, you will see what the dynasties are. So you start in Tang Dynasty, which means that your scouts gain 30% extra vision compared to the other scouts, which is actually a really good bonus, especially for the start. Because sometimes you will see the enemy scout and you're gonna collect sheep in front of them, but they won't see your scout, so they're just gonna keep following and not knowing that you're actually picking up all the sheep in front of them. Another thing you get in Tang Dynasty is a unique building for Chinese called a village. So whenever you drop a village, it increases population by 40 for 125 wood. So this is equivalent of 4 houses, which is 200 wood. So you can open with a house with Chinese, but if you go village, you kind of save up wood in the long run. And also village counts or is a place you can garrison your villagers. So you usually want to build villages like this next to mining camps, for example, or maybe woodlands here or mills. So if you get raided, the villagers don't need to go in TC, they can just hop into the village really quick. You deal with the raid, and then you know, you send the villagers back to do whatever. Next thing, I'm gonna build a barracks. I'm gonna build a barracks right here. So they have barracks accessible in the Dark Age. I'm gonna build their towers here just so you guys see what they're about. And obviously they have farms and they have docks, which we're gonna build a couple of as well. So other than that, that is pretty much what they have in the Dark Age. And in Dark Age they can produce spearmen. And sorry, one last thing. You usually open either with a villager into Imperial Official or Imperial Official and then you make villagers. The reason why you want to make Imperial Official is I'm going to explain the abilities that it has right now. And it's very important if you do play China to use Imperial Officials as effective as you can, because you know, what they provide is really good. So you can see it has 2 abilities, which is collect tax and supervise. So if I go over here and I click on this lumber camp, you can see it has 29 gold. And every time you drop off something, it's gonna add 1 gold, okay? So if I supervise it, the amount of resources dropped off will increase by 20%. So let me show you. This villager's got 10 wood, so 10 wood, it drops off here, it drops 12 wood. So you can supervise any economic building, which is granary, mill, mining camp, and lumber camp. So all villagers that drop off wood here will get 20% extra resources. And you can have 4 total imperial officials. And these are very important, like I said, to use effectively, because you just get 20% more resources, which is kind of crazy. Once it reaches 40 gold, you can pick up taxes earlier, but the max amount of gold imperial official can carry is 40 until you get the upgrade. So you just click on the building and it's gonna drop it off at TC. If the imperial official has no tasks, it's just gonna go around on its own and it's gonna collect taxes. So you can see there's 10 gold here. It's gonna pick that up, and it might go to like a mill, or it might drop off taxes first. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, it's just going again to lumber camp. So yeah, usually what you want to do in mid game, when you have like 4 imperial officials, you want to have one guy just roaming around and collecting gold, because it is quite a bit of gold income, especially the more production buildings you have. Like there's tax gold everywhere, so he's just gonna constantly pump up gold and just give you so much income. For now, we're gonna leave him here. And another thing that Imperial Official does, which I forgot to mention, it makes buildings produce 150% faster, which counts for upgrades. So this upgrade is 45 seconds. If I supervise it, it's 18 seconds. So if you look, it finishes super quick. And this is really nice for getting the upgrades, whether it's a military upgrade or an economic upgrade, and you can boost the unit production. So spearmen are 15 seconds. If you supervise it, it's only 6 seconds per spearman. And look how fast they come out. So it's a very nice way to boost your production. You know, if you want to like go for some kind of strong push, you can supervise your buildings. Or if you need like to defend super quickly and you need like spearmen or crossbows or something, you can do that too. So yeah. We're gonna go over here, supervise the mill, and I'm just gonna get a wheelbarrow just so our villagers move quicker. And that's it as far as Dark Age goes. Now, the first age up, which is 2 feudal, you have 2 options, which is Imperial Academy and Barbican of the Sun. Imperial Academy, nearby buildings generate plus 100% tax gold. Imperial officials can drop off taxes at this building. So, this building, in one-on-ones, you usually put it like close to the mill, so you can use this official to supervise the mill and then quickly drop off the gold and go back to supervising. Now, in general, you don't want to make it like here, because this influence zone that it has is the influence zone where it boosts the taxes on all those buildings by 100%. So this is, for example, if you don't place it on the mill, this is a good spot to place it in, because you will get bonus gold on mining camp here, barracks, lumber camps, and so on. Alright, next thing. The other landmark is Barbican of the Sun, which is basically, it's like a mini keep, right? It doesn't have boiling oil, but it does have hand cannon upgrade, just like the TC. So it doesn't shoot arrows, it shoots the cannons. And as you can see here, the hand cannon from the Chinese TC does 25 damage per hit, but obviously it does attack slower than a regular TC. Now, once this is completed, you can see that now every drop off from a resource drops off 2 gold instead of 1, which might not seem like a big deal, but it's a pretty big deal. It will generate a crap ton of gold. If I were to supervise the spearman now, whenever the spearman makes, it will also generate double gold, so 8 gold for 1 spearman. So you pay 60 food, 20 wood, and you get 6 gold back, which is a pretty good deal, right? So the gold that you get from taxes is not just from making gold units. That's something that someone asked me once, like, do you have to make gold units to get gold from taxes? No, you can make any units. This does not work on town centers, just so you guys know. But it works even on blacksmith, which I'm going to show you in a little bit. And once Imperial Academy finishes, you can make Imperial officials here, which is what you usually do. You make the first one out of your TC, and then you make the other 3 from your Imperial Academy. And there's also this upgrade that increases the maximum amount of gold carried by Imperial officials from 40 to 60. As you can see now that I'm getting more taxes, tax gold, you're getting like gold way faster. So if I try to pick up this gold, see this guy just picked it up, there's a cooldown of, I think it's like 15 or 20 seconds where you cannot pick up gold again. So you need to wait in order to pick up gold again. So getting this upgrade is pretty good for situations like those, but you don't necessarily need to rush it. All right, next thing. How do we achieve the dynasty, which is what I talked about earlier? Well, if I press T, which is for age up, that's gonna show me the castle landmarks. But right here, you see where my mouse is? Right here is the Barbican of the Sun. And China is the only civ that can build both landmarks at each age. So, where do you want to build Barbican? Well, for example, this would be a good spot. You would get the boar, you would protect your food, you would protect your stone and your wood. So you want to use this Barbican, usually defensively, to protect as many resources as you can. Or you could also put it somewhere like here to protect the deer if it's a full land map. But you can also use Barbican Rush, which is basically kind of cheesing your opponent by throwing a Barbican in their base or in front of their base. So that is up to you. Now, how do we achieve dynasties? We achieve dynasties by building both landmarks in that age. So, Song Dynasty is the dynasty we're about to get because we built Barbican of the Sun and Imperial Academy. And what we just unlocked is villager production speed is increased by 33%. And now villagers only take 15 seconds to produce from 20. And you unlock Jugenu, which are unique ranged units, I'm going to show you in a bit, and a granary. So, one thing that's very important to note, you still, even when you go to Song Dynasty, you still keep this bonus, okay? The scouts gain 30% range, and you can still build this village, right? But if I were to go to Yuan Dynasty, I would get these bonuses, and I can still make these, right? Because I have achieved the Song Dynasty, but I would lose this bonus. So, whenever you swap dynasties, you will only keep the Tank Dynasty bonus, you will lose the other ones. So again, if I go Yuan Dynasty, my villagers, officials, and military gain 15% movement speed, but villagers will no longer produce 33% faster. Same thing, if I go Ming Dynasty, then I will lose this and this dynasty. You can skip dynasties, so for example, you could go from Tang to Song to Ming to Yuan, or you can go from Tang to Yuan to Song, whatever. The order of dynasties does not matter, and you don't need to achieve dynasties to age up further. That's important to note. Now, what else do we have? We have the barracks, which I'm gonna make, and we have stables. I'm going to upgrade the spearmen. I'm going to get this upgrade as well, just to show you everything else that we got going on. Obviously, TC, you know, same as other TCs. Now, you can produce horsemen and you can produce scouts. So pretty much like any civ, except Rus and French, where they can produce knights or Malians. And in archer range, you have archers and you have Jugenu. Now, these units are very strong. The reason for that is they're extremely cheap. They're 20 food and 30 wood and 30 gold. Now, look at this. I'm going to produce one. In a moment. And I get 8 gold back. So, with China, you will have so much passive gold because of your imperial officials that basically this unit only costs 20 food, 30 wood, which is very nice. And it's possible to play like feudal all-in with only these, even without spearmen. If you get to a good mass of like 30-40, they become extremely strong. So that's their unique unit. I'm going to show you how they shoot. They shoot in volleys of 3, so they do 4 damage times 3 attacks, so 12 damage. So even if the unit has like 5 armor, you will still do 1 damage times 3 shots, so you're going to do 3 damage at minimum. Alright, next. Let me get this guy over here. These are the upgrades. Again, they take a minute to research, but if you use Imperial Official to supervise, they only take 24 seconds. So, as you can see, a lot of China comes down to using your Imperial Officials to your advantage. Now, As mentioned earlier, their walls construct faster, so you can 50% faster, as you can see, and their buildings construct 100% faster. So again, that's a very, very good bonus. And the last thing we're going to talk about in last two things, I guess. Their market and traders have no bonuses, so China has no bonuses on trade. It's just normal traders, nothing special. And the last thing we'll talk about is granary. Now, granary is basically a big mill that's 4 times the size of it. Once you build a granary, it costs 150 wood. Villagers can now drop off food at this building and improves the farm gather rate of nearby villagers by 10%. Stacks with other granaries generate stacks each time a resource is dropped off. Now, what you can do and what this means is there's two ways to build granaries. If you want to spread out your food sources, you know, you would build granaries or you would build farms like this. Like this. Boom, 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 boom. Something like that, right? In order to, you know, and then you're going to build another granary here and do the same, whatever. But if another option that you have, which is what most players do, which I'm going to show in a second, you can do something like this. Obviously, this is not the best spot because my buildings are blocking, but you know, you get the point. Boar, please move. Thank you. So what you can do is something like this, and by doing this and then building farms around it, like this, you can see there's a radius. So all these farms are influenced by this granary, which means they're gathering 10% faster. Now, if any farms overlap with the other granaries, like for example this one, this villager will be collecting 30% faster. So usually when people play China, this is how they build their granaries. Not necessarily in this position. Usually go something like this, I would say. Again, I'm trying to find clear space, but there's like trees everywhere. So you would go something like this, or right, and then just build farms around it. Or you can go something like this, where you build 3 in a row. Or you can do with spacing in between. I've seen people do that too, like this. And then you build another set of farms there, and then you build another granary. So there's multiple ways to go about it. You can build it like this, and then build 3 granaries, and then build farms around it. You get the point. That's how you maximize your food income with China. And because of this bonus, they only need about 40-45 villagers in the super late game to have like insane economy. I would not advise you to supervise the granaries, because if you build them close to each other, you know, not every villager will drop off at the same granary, so you won't get the return necessarily. What you can also do is, let me cancel these quickly. What you can also do is, if you have granaries like this, and you have farms here, let's say, because they're still in range, you don't need to drop off there to have faster gather rate. So what you can do is you can build a mill here, or a mill here, or a mill here, so that these 2 workers, like these guys, don't have to run all the way there, but they can just drop off next to the mill. So that's something to consider as well. I think other than that, we've covered pretty much everything, so we can just move up to the next age. I'm going to discuss the ships at the end for China. So, you guys can get mine that. So, next thing is age 3 landmark. And you have 2 options. Imperial Palace has a large side radius, activated to view location of enemy workers, and astronomical clock tower. Now, Imperial Palace, because the map is revealed, I can't obviously show you the vision. But if you build it like here, for example, you would have the vision all the way up to here. Like, kind of like that. It's a pretty big radius. Like, it's like double, or maybe, it's like double, I think, or 2.5 size of a watchtower radius. So it's quite big. Now, you can go for this, especially if you play maybe team games. You can go for that because it has a use that you can see, ability to activate and view location of enemy workers for 10 seconds. So if you play team games, you can build this landmark and activate it and see like where the opponent's traders are, if they are trading, stuff like that. in one-on-ones. This one is a lot more used and in general better, which is Astronomical Clock Tower. So this landmark acts as a siege workshop and produces siege engines with 50% health. So let's build that one. And you can see the landmarks also create a lot faster, by the way, with China. So, yeah. And another thing I forgot, villages, you can only have 3 maximum. And granaries, you can only have 3 maximum. So I forgot to mention that. So, what did we unlock? We unlocked Monastery. And as you can see, this building has a little plus, which means it's in the range of the Imperial Academy. Monastery also, you can supervise and get the monks out super quickly. In like 12 seconds, which is pretty good. You can delete these buildings. And in general, when you build Imperial Academy, you want to make sure you leave space later on so you can have, you know, production buildings like this. So when every time you make crap units like horsemen or archers or spearmen, you get gold from it. You get basically double the tax gold. So, go capture the sacred site. We got Siege Workshop, obviously, and we got Keep that I'm going to build right there. And you usually don't build Siege Workshop with China because you already have one, which is a landmark. But sometimes you will get into Siege Wars and you will maybe make some more. But if you produce out of the this landmark, your siege will have 50% more health. So I'm going to show you guys right now. And they have a unique unit called Nest of Bees. Nest of Bees is basically a replacement for Mangonel. It deals less damage on the units that it does hit. I think the splash is a bit higher and it's more consistent, which means, yes, it does less damage, but it's harder for the opponents to dodge or reduce damage. And it's also a lot tankier than Mangonels because it's produced from Astronomical Clock Tower. So there's a lot more use for China to go for Nest of Bees a lot earlier. So they're gonna pop out in a second. There we go, Nest of Bees 140 health, and this one has 210 health. So same thing goes for every other siege. You cannot supervise the landmark, just so you guys know. Even though it's a production building, you cannot. But you can supervise Siege Workshop. So another thing to consider is if you make Springles out of a normal Siege Workshop, it takes 2 Springle shots to kill them. But if you produce Springles from Clock Tower, it takes 3 Springle shots to kill them because of their bonus HP, which is quite big. Yeah, it's also a lot easier. That's a good point. If you have like 2 Mangonels, you can basically one-shot like 10 units kind of thing. But if you have like 5 Nest of Bees, you can mow down like 20 plus units with one volley. Because the area is much larger, and like I said, the damage is more consistent, and Mangonels can sometimes feel a little bit wonky to use. So, here we go. Springald, 125 health. The Clockwork Springald has 190. So, same thing. Trebuchet will come out now. Trebuchet has 210 health, and this one is going to have 50% more, which I'm not doing math this stream, is 315. Amazing. So, what else did we unlock in Castle Age? Keeps also shoot hand cannons. They do not shoot arrows unless you garrison units inside. So their keeps are also very, very strong against armored units. They do have emplacements, boiling oil, and they have a unique upgrade, which is called Extra Materials. Stonewall towers and outposts repair nearby damaged stone walls. A single section is repaired at a time for 20 health a second. So, if you were to build a stone like this, and you build a tower behind it, this tower basically has a radius like this, will repair any stone walls that are damaged. So, that's something I feel like a lot of people don't know, but that is a unique upgrade for China. So, next thing. In barracks, we have gotten men-at-arms, which are called Palace Guards. They also are unique units. I'm gonna go boost some so we can get them out quickly. You can also upgrade your Jugnu to Veteran. You can get Veteran Archers. You get access to crossbows. You get all the other upgrades as well. which we're gonna do that right now. And then we get access to Lancers, just like every other civ except those 3 I named earlier. So nothing weird there. Now, what is the difference between Chinese or normal men-at-arms and Chinese Palace Guards, which are their replacement? Well, Palace Guards are a lot faster, and they're used in main battles, but they're also used as a raiding unit. They have 1 less melee armor and 1 less ranged armor, but if you look at their movement speed, they're very, very quick. So it's very often that people just send Palace Guards like this to raid opponent and just let them, you know, beat the enemy units. So you can deal with Palace Guards a little bit easier compared to, you know, men-at-arms from other civs that are fully upgraded. But they're a lot faster, and they also have still really good damage. And in Imperial, if you actually get Ming Dynasty, they have more HP than Men-at-Arms do. So, there it is. They're very, very good units. And again, they cost 100 food, 20 gold, which with China, the 20 gold part, kind of non-existent in the late game. I got a couple of Lancers, just so you guys can see what they look like. They're pretty cool. But in general, they're basically same as other Knights / Lancers. And I think I've covered everything in Castle. Now we are gonna reach the Dynasty, which is, I'm gonna build this, which we're gonna reach the Yuan Dynasty. So by building both of these landmarks, we reach Yuan Dynasty, and all our villagers, officials, and military units gain 15% movement speed. Now you will see, look how these guys move, and look now when the Yuan Dynasty finishes. You can see they're now a lot faster. They're not quite like horsemen, but considering they do a lot more damage than horsemen, they're very, very good. And now the villagers also, this also boosts your economy, right? Because now your villagers are faster, so if you're going around building keeps or, you know, just for farming and stuff like that, your villagers being faster or officials will give you more economy. So, very nice. And now, because we have also achieved Yuan Dynasty, another building that we unlocked, that you see right here, and a unit, we unlock Fire Lancers and Pagodas. Now, Pagodas are not something I ever make in my games, because I feel like it's too clunky to use. And it's also like, at the time where you're picking up relics, you usually don't have extra resources for these, but religious units can pick up relics and place them in Pagoda to generate plus 50 gold, 25 wood, food, and stone every 30 seconds. So I should probably start doing these, but you know, you can put your relics in a monastery or you can put them in pagodas as well. Another problem is whenever you reach castle, you want to get relics, right? But you never reach castle with China and get dynasty at the same time. You get dynasty much later. So by the time you unlock dynasty, you already put relics in the monastery. So then you would need to like take them out of the monastery and put them in the thing, which is you either don't remember or it's, like I said, too inconvenient to do. But in a perfect world, probably should be done. And only one relic can fit in these, so you would need to build multiple for multiple pagodas. Alright, let's go into the Imperial. So Imperial has 2 landmarks, Great Wall Gatehouse, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit, and Spirit Way. We're going to build Spirit Way. This was changed. It used to be different a couple of months ago. Spirit Way dynasty-related technologies can be researched here for 50%, minus 50% cost and 150% research speed. When a dynasty unit is killed, nearby units will receive 20% attack speed and 20 health over 10 seconds. Now, this is obviously very, very strong, and it synergizes with the dynasty units quite well, which I'm going to talk about in a second. So, you have a unique upgrade to Chinese. Increases the gathering rate of villagers by 5% for each dynasty achieved. So that's pretty big, and that's a very good tech for eco. And you also get access to Elite Fire Lancer upgrade and Veteran Jugunu, which or Elite Veteran and Elite Jugunu. But remember, you can get those upgrades in Archer range or stables as well. Now we're gonna make some Jugunu here, and we're gonna make some fire lancers for you guys as well. I'm gonna get these upgrades. Now, while those are being made, I'm gonna discuss the university stuff that we have left over. Obviously, there's a wonder that we might make a little bit later. There it is. So university, as you can see, there's no chemistry upgrade, which is the reason for that is you get chemistry for free as China, and all the other upgrades are just normal upgrades. Now, these are fire lancers. Let's talk about those. So remember what this landmark does. When a dynasty unit is killed, nearby units will receive 20% attack speed and 20 health over 10 seconds. So dynasty units are Jugunu, fire lancers, and grenadiers that I'm going to show you guys in a little bit. So if fire lancer dies or Jugunu dies, all the other dynasty units get the attack speed. Or nearby units? Is it all units actually? Let me check. I can check this. So another cool trick with China that some of you may not know, even though maybe you played China, you can delete your unit and activate the bonus. So if I have my units here, if I delete this fire lancer, the units will get the bonus. So again, if you do it, boom, right there. So apparently it works on all units. So whenever a dynasty unit dies, all the units around it will get 20% attack speed and health regen. Now, China has really good dynasty units. Like I said, Jugunu are very good. Palace guards are unique, but they're not dynasty unit. That's very important to know. And last, fire lancers is the unit that I did not mention yet. These guys are raiding units. So their torch damage, if you look, Palace Guards does 20 torch damage, Fire Lancers do 40. Not only that, they have a charge attack. So if I were to charge with my Fire Lancers here, they do kind of like mini explosion splash damage. So they're very good for raiding. They're very good for killing siege, for destroying walls, for killing buildings. They're just very good. And I think if we saw more Imperial games, they would probably get nerfed. But as is right now, in order to get to this point, you need quite a bit. But they're very strong and probably the best raiding unit in the game. What else do we have? Let's see. So you can get your upgrades in Astronomical Clock Tower, by the way, or you can get you can just build another siege workshop and get the upgrades there. Also, if you build bombards here, you will get 50% health, which is really good, and they have free chemistry already, so that's nice. And they have another unique upgrade. Reload drills increases the attack speed of bombards by minus 33%. They attack 33% faster, which is really good. So going like a lot of Nest of Bees and bombards is a thing that you can do as China. And another unique upgrade that I forgot is reusable barrels, reduces the cost of Nest of Bees by 25%. So if you were to get this, I'll show you guys in a second, it's researching right now. Your Nest of Bees will be cheaper. Next, we have no unique upgrades in their mining camps, lumber camps, and mills, just to make sure you guys know that. You can also get eco upgrades in granaries. Blacksmith, same upgrades. Now, Barracks has obviously elite palace guards when you reach Imperial, but it also has Battle Hardened, which increases the health of palace guards by 30. So we're gonna get both of those. And once this upgrade finish, now Nest of Bees cost 225, 225. So that's a very nice upgrade, especially if you plan on making more Nest of Bees. In Archer range, apart from getting all the elite upgrades for every unit except Hand Cannoneer and Grenadier, you also have Pyrotechnics, which is unique to China, increases the range of hand cannons by 1.5 tiles. So their Hand Cannoneers have the highest range in the game. Very nice. Now, let's do the last thing, which is to unlock the last dynasty, the Ming Dynasty. Now, I do want to remind you guys, if you look, my Palace Guard's movement speed is 158. So once I unlock Ming Dynasty, I will lose the movement speed on the Palace Guards, or every unit. So the way you build this landmark is you need to build it over stone walls. So you cannot build it anywhere else. You cannot attach it to buildings. You got to build it over stone walls. And what this landmark does is it comes with nest of bees in placement. Now this might not sound like a big deal, but this thing kills everything. And not only it kills everything, this thing also makes it so that bombards cannot attack this landmark without the landmark hitting it back. So in order to kill it, you need trebuchets because they have higher range. Not only that, but it provides 25% range damage to all units on walls. Now, not just these walls, but if I build walls like here, and I put units on top of them, the units will also have 25% increased damage when they're on the walls, which is kind of crazy, right? It's only for range units. So yeah, this thing now serves as a gate, but also will absolutely demolish everything in front of it. And if we look now, the Palace Guards got movement speed of 138. They were 158, but we lost the Yuan Dynasty. So even though we can still produce Fire Lancers, we can still produce Zhuginyu, we can still produce Pagodas and Granaries, now we are in Ming Dynasty. We got Grenadiers. All our military units gain 10% health, but you cannot go back to any of the other dynasties if you've already built these landmarks. So if I didn't build Imperial Palace, I could now go in Yuan Dynasty if I wanted to, but because I already built all my landmarks, you are stuck in this one forever. Now, this thing, where is it? So Ming Dynasty gives 10% health to military units. This counts for siege units as well. So if you look, my Springalds got 209 health. Regular Springalds have 125. We can also get this upgrade, which increases the health of siege engines by another 20%. And you see why China is one of the best siege civs and why it's one of the best late game civs. Because of Fire Lancers, because of Zhuginyu, because of dynasties that they have, and because their siege gets produced with 50% health extra, and they basically have dynasty that further increases their health. So we're gonna get this as well, so you guys can see. We're gonna make some Grenadiers, but these units used to be broken as hell. These days, not so much. They're pretty underwhelming. I mean, now it's almost April 2023. I don't know when you guys are going to watch this video. Maybe these units are broken in the future. But as of right now, they're pretty mediocre. And if you look, Clockwork Springles from China have 251 health. Nest of Bees, 277 health. Bombard from China, are you ready? 475 health. That is crazy stuff. Crazy, crazy stuff. So, as you can see, this would make China, like I said, probably the best siege civilization. And they just got a lot of bonuses. Now, here's the Grenadiers. They're just kind of weird. They used to be really, really OP. They basically have very low range, 3-tile range. It does a lot of damage against buildings, which is kind of weird because you're not going to run by with these guys because they're kind of slow. And it has kind of weird and slow attack speed, but their attacks do splash damage. So I can't show you because there's no enemy, but I can go attack this boar over here and you'll see the range of them. Okay, I'm going to let them attack from max range. You can see the animation kind of takes a while, and they're not terrible because if the enemy has like mass infantry, you could build these and they're gonna absolutely like mow down the spearmen and men-at-arms. But in order to get to them, which is achieving Ming Dynasty, is very expensive. Because aging up to Imperial is 2.4k food and 1.2k gold. You gotta do that twice in order to unlock Grenadiers. So that's pretty expensive. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. There is water. So water for China, they got the first 6 ships. It's all good in the hood. It's all normal, nothing weird. Fishing, trade, transport, junk, war junk, and explosive, which are the arrow, springald, and demolition ship. Now, they do have unique upgrades. These are all normal upgrades. These ones right here. And this as well. Their unique upgrade is Thunderclap Bombs. And once you research this, let me actually build a couple of more. Let me build a couple of more houses. Once you research this, your bow chads, which are already probably they're the best Imperial ships, or were, now they will have Nest of Bees combined with their normal attack. So right now, how can I do this? I can do this. So as you can see, they're slow as hell, but they are kind of like capital ships. So this is normal bow chat attack. You know, they deal splash damage, siege damage, and all the good stuff. And now when we research, whoa, stop. And now when the upgrade finishes, their tags get Nest of Bees as well. They're very strong. Probably the strongest ship in Imperial Age, to be fair. Because Nest of Bees obviously deal splash damage. And like I said, all the other upgrades are pretty standard. And remember, their docks produce 20% faster, which is also great. And you can collect taxes, as you can see right there. You can collect taxes from the docks as well. Now, let me show you one last thing. I'm gonna get this upgrade, for example. Upgrades generate more taxes than the unit creating. So I'm gonna take these taxes just so you guys can see. So it has 0 gold right now. And if I were to get this upgrade, I'm not gonna get only, how much was it, 4 gold a tax? You will get a lot more. Yes, you cannot supervise the docks. So pyrotechnics completed, 64 gold you get back. But if I produce an archer, I only get 64, 6, 8 gold. So that's another thing to remember. And I think that's pretty much it. There's the ability from the Imperial Palace. Reveal location of enemy workers for 10 seconds. Again, there's no enemies, so you won't be able to see it. But overall, very nice. Very nice. China is one of the best late game civs, and I think I have pretty much covered it. If you're watching this on YouTube, I do want to thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope you learned something new about China. Maybe it helps you get into playing China as a new player, or you learn something new if you're already playing China. Check me out on Twitch. I'm probably live right now, even though I'm sick. And gamers on Twitch, let's keep going.